Morning, folks. Beautiful day. I'm in garden bed number 2, built on top of rock hard sandstone. Literally sandstone, literally rock hard because it is rock. I mean, that hunk of sandstone right there is my base layer. It's right under the surface here. This wall is made from sandstone. I have built this little retaining wall to hold back the dirt, which is built from composting of wood chips and straw, and there's clay in here, no question about it. Clay is good stuff, don't get me wrong. Clay has a very strong charge, so it holds on to lots of minerals, because most of your minerals have a positive charge and clay has a negative charge. That's your cation, C-A-T-I-O-N. I always thought it was cation, but it's cation exchange, which is really just talking about the magnetism between your soil particles and your mineral particles. Clay is probably, as far as I know, the best at holding on to your minerals, but it compacts terribly. The reason it compacts is because it's a super fine particle, and when it's bare soil, like right here, you see that dust goes up in the air? Well, the dust goes up, the dust is clay. The heavier particles fall back down to the ground first when a rain droplet impacts the ground. It pops everything up in the air, and the last thing to land is that clay dust. That clay powder is so fine that it will seal off. It will absolutely seal off the porosity of the soil. And then you get a crust. When you get this crust, there is no infiltration option because all of the little tubes and holes and nooks and crannies have been filled in. Just like filling a bucket with rocks, then filling it with gravel, then filling it with sand, and continually watering it in. What you get is this absolutely rock solid packed. There's just no room for air, there's no room for water. If you put an old hay bale or straw bale, a wheat straw bale, you're probably better off with wheat straw if weeds bother you, because the seed heads have been cut off and harvested for grain, and the straw is pretty much not going to germinate anything. If you put up rank hay, you're going to have seed heads. It's a fantastic way to put a lawn in to stabilize a hill or something. Old hay is fantastic. What I'm doing here is draining my swimming pool. So I store water all year long in the swimming pool. Comes off the gutters of the roof. I also have a water tote, 275-gallon tote, hooked up to the gutter that stays full. And ahead of the rain, I try to drain it down, especially in the summertime. If I know there's rain coming on a dry day, I will pump that tank out. Or not all the way out in case the rain doesn't come, but I will pump that tank into these gardens. Clay is pottery. It's going to hold water like pottery. So this water that I'm pouring in is not going to just go 20 feet into the earth. The percolation rate on clay is extremely slow. What I'm doing is I'm filling the living soil, the stuff that's aerated and churned up and full of aggregation and porosity from all the things that I've grown, that soil structure that holds air, holds water, I'm filling it. I'm just charging it up. So those spaces that are now full of air and, relatively dry, they're going to be full of water. I seeded this with a combination of forage sorghum and cowpea. Forage sorghum and cowpea. The sorghum is a broadleaf grain, closely related to, it's a grass, but it's really similar to corn, with a lower nutritional requirement, lower nitrogen requirements. The cowpea is a climbing vine that is also a legume, so the bacteria that colonizes the root system of that vine or that cowpea plant is able to convert atmospheric nitrogen into plant available soluble nitrogen. And believe it or not, the broadleaf, in this case the sorghum, is going to be able to signal to its neighbor that's climbing up it. It's going to say, hey, I need more nitrogen. So the load from the grass is going to ask the cowpea to fixate more nitrogen than what the cowpea needs for itself. Here we are, same garden bed. I don't know, a couple weeks maybe. We've had a lot of good rain, fortunately, praise the Lord. And I've got obviously really good germination, and I've got it in what will drive a farmer insane, or an obsessive compulsive person insane. There's no uniformity. There's no consistency. I got thin, I've got way too dense, I've probably got some in between that is, by conventional ag standards, some happy medium. I've got uneven dispersal of the cowpea, red ripper cowpea. Got a little bit of weeds because I don't spray. I don't fertilize, I don't lime. I don't do anything. I don't till either anymore. I let the pigs do that. So they fertilize for me. And what I've got here now is, and some of this has been grazed. Goats are walking down the driveway right now. Some of this has been grazed, some of it hasn't. Most of it hasn't. Chicken's eating some of it off. Hey, I gotta feed them. So if they want to eat this, what do you think? I'm competing for it? I'm not gonna eat it. Let them eat it. I've put it in too dense. So let them thin it out. If we have a drought, the spots that are too dense will probably die. But if we have tremendous high temperature, maybe they'll live. Maybe the cowpea will be shaded in one area and not shaded in another. I don't know. I just know that there's a diverse scenario so that it can withstand diverse conditions. One area will thrive, one area will languish, but no matter what, I'll always have something here. I can't really lose it in one fell swoop. And I mean, realistically, I'm right next to a garden hose and a swimming pool, so it's not like I'm going to lose it to a drought. But I'm not going to water this. I mean, I wouldn't let it die, but maybe I will. We really don't have droughts. We don't have bad droughts, not like in the southwestern U.S., California sort of mentality. We don't really have droughts. But if we had one, I think I would probably just monitor this and let nature take its course so that I could glean some information as to, under that condition, which situation favored. Would it be better for an individual plant that's not competing with its neighbors, or would it be better for one that's really dense because there's shade and because the sun is not able to bake the moisture? The sun can't get to the soil where it's dog hair thick. The sun can't dry that soil, but it can dry that soil. So which one's better? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to observe nature doing its thing, which I'm along for the ride, you know. Praise the Lord. Thanks for watching.